Hello everyone, this is Kenji here again. How's everyone doing? Nice to see you all again. Alright, so in this video, as I had promised in my other videos, I am going to share a success story, semi-success story I would say, when I actually went to this Korean bar and asked this waitress for her number and got it. Okay, so here you go. So I think this was when I was about maybe 24 or 25 after I dropped out of college, right? So my college friend from Berkeley was actually, he already graduated, and he's like Canadian, right? So he lived in Canada, but yeah, one day he actually came to visit me from Canada, right? And yeah, I took him out to this Korean bar to have some drinks, and as soon as we sat down, yeah, we noticed this waitress. I think she was the only one working there, right? And we noticed the server. She was really cute, right? She was like this really skinny, cute Asian Korean girl, right? So I was like, hey, like, isn't she? I was telling my friend, like, hey, isn't she really cute? And he was like, yeah, she's really cute. I feel like she's the cutest one I've seen so far after I came here to the States, right? I was like excited, right? I'm like, yeah, she's so cute. And then I was like telling my friend, oh man, she's so cute. Should I ask for her number? And then he was like, do you think you could do it, right? I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm nervous already, right? And we were like going back and forth, just talking about like, oh, should we do it? Should I do it? Or should he do it, right? And yeah, I guess like after like half an hour or an hour into after we came there, we were drinking. I still, I guess, couldn't muster up that courage to ask or to even talk to her, right? And then I don't know, as we had more drinks, and I guess I started to get a little buzzed, right? And then all of a sudden I start to have this, I guess, what do you call it, alcohol courage, right? And then maybe like an hour and a half later, it was already pretty late at night, right? Probably around 11 at night. And yeah, when she comes over to our table, oh, actually I remember, when she comes over to our table, my friend actually mustered the courage to kind of like try to flirt with her, right? And he goes, hey, like, actually, why are you like so cute? My friend here, he was referring to me, right? My friend here actually thought you're really cute. And yeah, we were just like wondering like if you have a boyfriend. And she starts like smiling and laughing, and she was like, no, I don't have a boyfriend, right? And then we were like making some silly jokes, and she goes back to the kitchen. And then my friend was like, hey, like, that wasn't so bad. I feel like she probably like she probably doesn't think too bad of us, right? And he was like, hey, we actually like might have a chance. Like, do you actually want to ask her for her number? And I was like, okay, like, if she comes over again, I'm going to ask her, right? So maybe like 10 or 15 minutes later, she comes back to our table asking if everything else is okay, right? So I go, yeah, like everything is fine except for one problem, one little issue, which is I think I need your number. I need you to give me your number, right? And then she laughs and like she smiled and she laughs again. She was like, "Oh no, like can't do that, right? Like my boss wouldn't let me do that. My boss doesn't let me give away my phone numbers to customers." And then I was like, "Oh, so this is not the first time you've been asked for your number, huh?" I think I said something along that lines, and she was like, "Oh," she was like, "I don't know." She was laughing, "I don't know," right? And I think she was like, I don't know, from her body language, she was being a little flirty, I could tell, and at least it wasn't negative reaction, right? It was not a complete disinterest or a complete disgust, right? It was, I think it was mostly positive body language, right? Because she was smiling and laughing, and I think it was genuine smile and laughing, right? But anyways, I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, can I ask your owner? Like, can I ask your boss if you could give me your number? Let me talk to your boss, right? So I'm still like trying to go at it like in a flirty way. And then she was like, no, like you don't have to. Like, actually, I could ask her if it'd be okay, right? I was like, okay, like why don't you go ask, right? And she laughs and then she leaves our table. And then she's like, yeah, like 10 or 15 minutes later again, she comes back to our table. And I was like, I try to talk to her again, right? So I was like, oh, so what did your boss say? Like, did she say it would be okay for you to give away your number? And and then she was like, no, like I don't know, like she said no, I don't think I give it to you. And I was like, oh, like why don't you tell her if you like give me your number, I'll be coming here more often, right? I'll definitely I'll definitely be a regular here, right? I feel like that's a win-win, no, right? Like she's gonna earn business, and yeah, I get your number. Like I feel like that's a pretty good deal, right? And then she's still laughing and stuff, and yeah, and then I think I pressed her even a little harder, right, this time. So I was like, okay, you know what? Why don't you write your number down right here? And then I like give her this like a napkin that was on my table, like a blank napkin. And then like, why don't you write it down, right? And she's like, kind of, I guess she was still laughing and smiling, but I could tell she was feeling a little at ease at that point, because I think maybe I was being a little too pushy about it, right? Even if like she said no like a couple of times. And then like I pretty much like straight up handed over this napkin to her, right? Like, oh, why don't you write your number down and like bring the napkin back, right? And then she laughs and then leaves with the napkin. And then guess what? She comes back with her number written down on the napkin. I was like, kind of, me and my friends were like, what the heck? Like, did she actually write her number down, right? We both were like, even if we're really hoping, trying really hard to get her number, we're still and hoping that would happen. But when it actually happened, me and my friends were kind of in a disbelief, because we really didn't think we could actually get it, right? And I was like, oh wait, like did you actually really give me your number? And she was like, yeah, like this is my number, right? I was like, okay, like I'm so excited. Can I like would it be okay like for me to call you? And she was like, yeah, I guess. And I was like, okay, like let me I'll take you out on a date, right? And then she was just like laughing and stuff. And I mean, at that point, me and my friends were saying how like this is already a win, right? Because the fact that like even if like later Even if, let's say, like she doesn't pick up my call, even if like she doesn't necessarily like say yes to what if like I ask her out, right? If she even if like she says no, I feel like still the fact that like she gave us her number, it's already a win, right? And yeah, me and my friends were already like pretty excited. Anyways, that night we like come back, and like I'm already very pumped up, very excited. Also like a little nervous, right? Like should I really like pull the trigger? Like could I actually call her, and um was she like is she going to actually agree to come out on a date, right, with me? But anyways, a few days later, I actually do pull out my phone and call her a number, call her on her phone, right? And she, I don't think like yeah, when I called her, she didn't really pick up, right? And I was thinking to myself, man, of course, right? Like, she's not gonna pick up. She probably was just trying to be nice, right? So, I mean, usually I was already like so used to getting rejected every time I try to make a move on a girl. Like whenever I try to ask for a number or try to ask them out on a date, it's usually a no, right? So I wasn't too surprised, but at the same time when she didn't pick up, but I was still disappointed, right? And then like so I was pretty much like resigned to the possible fact that she probably is not interested. And then like half an hour later, oh, like she texted me back saying how, oh, she's actually like doing like running some errands for her mom, and she's going to call me back. I was like, what the fuck? Like, is she like being serious, right? So did she really actually respond, or like is she really thinking about going out on a date with me? Like such a cute girl, right? So yeah, I got so excited, right? I just could not believe it. And then like, yeah, she does like call me back like after like a few hours later. She does call me back. And yeah, and then I think we talked for like about half an hour or so. We just talked about like some of like our hobbies and just casual talk, right? What do you do for a job? And it turns out that she actually had another job. Like she already was working at a full-time job during the daytime, and then that waitress job she was doing at the Korean bar was her part-time job, right? So she was working two jobs, right? I don't know. I thought that was pretty hot, right? Like she was working pretty hard working. I thought it was really, I don't know. I thought that was pretty hot. How she's very hard working and very diligent. But anyways, I was like, oh, like, so where do you work? And then I forget the exact job she had, but it was like I think it was like a regular office job, but basically her company was pretty near to my house, right? And I was like, oh, hey, like your job, like that's pretty close to my house, right? Like, can I come pick you up? And can we maybe like go out for lunch maybe? And she said, yeah, sure, like why not, right? I was like, oh my god, did she just really say yes? I don't know, it just happened so smoothly and so casually, right? I don't really feel that like pushback from the girl I usually get, right? So I got really excited again, right? So yeah, like we agreed to meet actually the very next day, and she gave me the address of her work. And yeah, during the lunchtime I did come. I actually drove over to her work, and yeah, I picked her up, right? And she gets in my car. So that was like the second time I see her, right? After that very first time I saw her at the bar. And yeah, as soon as she gets in the car, I was like, oh, like, what do you like, right? Like, what do you want? What do you feel like eating? And she was like, oh, I'm not sure. Anything's fine. But like, I have to go back soon, or yeah, cause like it was her lunchtime at her work. She only had like an hour, right? So yeah, I just couldn't. I guess we couldn't go too far. So I just like chose this sushi restaurant at inside the mall. So yeah, I was like, oh, how about sushi, right? And she was like, yeah, I like sushi. Sushi's fine. So we go to a sushi restaurant, right? And we sit down and we start to chat for more. Um, but I don't know. Like after we had to sit down and we started talking actually for more, I don't know what it was. But actually I started to lose interest in her. Um so she's Korean, right? So she was actually, yeah, she was like just like me. She was born in Korea, pretty much born and raised in Korea, and then moved here when she was like after she turned 18. So we like we spoke in Korean because both of us were more felt more comfortable speaking Korean. And I don't know, this might sound very, I don't know, weird or shallow, but she started to speak in this Korean dialect that has a very strong accent. And I guess I've never really met any girl with that speaks that particular region's accent. It's called the city is called Busan, which is like a harbor city in Korea. But anyways, they have like such a strong accent, and I guess I've never really heard a girl speak in that Busan accent. I don't know. Maybe it might have been that, but also I think like the topics I don't know, like the topics or the talk we had turned out to be so kind of dry and uninteresting. I didn't really talk as much, and she didn't talk as much either. And maybe I might have sensed that she did not appear to be as interested as I initially was. And maybe that might have turned me off eventually. I don't know what exactly happened. But during that time, I could feel that my interest in her kind of starts to fade already. It was really interesting though, because it really happens to me, right? Because I was initially very interested in her, but how could my interest be kind of fade so quickly like that, right? But anyways, we finished lunch, and yeah, I paid for lunch, and she was like, oh no, like let's split, right? I was like, no, it's okay, like I'm the one that suggested we come out to eat, right? And she was like, oh no, it's okay, I want to split. I was like, no, seriously, like it's okay. And yeah, I just paid for lunch, and then I think she wanted to go grab coffee, right? And I was like, no, like it's okay, like you don't have to like try to make that gesture like of trying to, I guess, because I paid for lunch, she was trying to pay for coffee, right? She felt bad. But I was like, no, it's okay, like I think you have to go back soon, no, right? Because it was already like an hour after, like an hour passed. So yeah, I took her back to her work, and on the way back home, I just couldn't really make sense of it, and I still can't make sense of it, like what exactly might have happened. But my interest in her like kind of faded. And the funny thing is though, I don't know if she sensed that I wasn't as interested as I had initially shown the interest to her, or if she actually never really had that much interest in me to begin with, and she was probably just trying to test the water, right? Just trying to see like who, I guess, try to, yeah, just test the water and trying to see if who I am, right? Just to see. Um, but basically after I dropped her off, and yeah, I never really reached out to her, and she never really reached out back to me again either. So that's how it all ended. and and the reason why I still call this success story is because first I mustered up the courage to ask a girl for their number, right? I feel like whether or not they give me their number, or whether or not they agree to give me their number, I feel like that's already a win, because I feel like I did my part, right? I focused on what I could control, right? Which is controlling my action to ask, muster up the courage and ask for their number, right? Whether or not they give me their number, whether or not they agree to go out on a date, it's on them, right? It's their choice, it's their actions, right? I cannot exactly, maybe I might be able to have some influence on their response, right? On their reaction, depending on how I don't know, how I present myself. But at the end of the day, I feel like their response is within their control, not within my control, right? So I just try to focus on myself, try to focus on the things I could actually have control over, right? And yeah, by asking her, the girl, for their number, yeah, that's already a win, because yeah, like I put in my courage as a guy, and I just focused on my own action. So that was already a success for me. And then, secondary success is definitely she agreeing to give me her number, and she agreeing to come out to go on a date with me, right? So even if like this didn't really work out between us, I feel like we both still gave it a try, right? And that, I feel like that's still a success, right? So you guys were probably maybe expecting or hoping that, I don't know, I might have made her my girlfriend, or yeah, like got into a relationship with her. But yeah, that part didn't never really happened. And I don't know if I ever shared this with you guys, but I've actually been in a relationship, couple of relationships before, and I could share those stories as well, but I feel like, I don't know, I feel like those stories were when I was able to win over a girl's heart, right? I don't know how to say it. Is that how you say it? Yeah, like win over their heart. It's not that interesting, I guess, compared to all these rejection stories, because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like there's something about rejection story that's has a lot of interesting humor and components in the story. I don't know, I feel like rejection stories are way more fun, right? Because there's a lot of ways that you could interpret that rejection, right? Depending on how you look at it, how you perceive the dynamic that happened that led up to that rejection. And I don't know, a lot of rejection stories, actually, like a lot of failure stories, have a lot to offer. I feel like there's a lot of things you could learn from being rejected and failing. And I mean, I really hate getting rejected. I really hate failing. I'm like I feel very what is that word? Aversive to failing, right? But I don't know. Maybe because all these rejections probably happened in the distant past. Maybe I don't have as much of a strong emotional reaction over them. So it's rather easy and to talk about them. I don't know, but I feel like I'm more drawn to sharing my rejection stories and my failure stories, and I feel like the audience, you guys are as subscribers of my channel and also viewers of this channel, are also drawn to those rejection stories more. So I don't know. I've seen a lot of comments saying how, oh, like, Kenji, please, more rejection stories. We need more rejection stories. Like, keep them coming, right? so, yeah, I definitely do have a couple of more rejection stories to share. But yeah, well, if you guys have watched up to this point, I really appreciate your patience and staying on up until this point of my video. And I will see you in the next video. All right, bye.